Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. Now today I'm going to tell you how to hold a violin, exactly how to hold the violin the way I do and the way I teach it in my 1 to 30 violin course. Before I do go any further with this video, I just want to tell you about my 1 to 30 violin course because I know so many of you don't even know that I have a course. Maybe you're watching this video and you've just got a violin and you're just learning how to, or you just want to know, you come here because you want to know how to hold the violin. But once you've learned how to hold the violin, what do you do next? So I've got a 1 to 30 violin course. I just want to tell you about that for the next minute or so, and then we will get right on into learning how to hold the violin. My 1 to 30 violin course is the first online and interactive course of its kind that 100% guarantees to take you from a complete beginner to a very decent, accomplished intermediate player. It's comprised of 30 lessons with 5 PDF tutorial and songbooks, and the whole course is completely online and downloadable. So the course will start off by taking you through the very basics from how to hold the violin and how to hold the bow. Then you'll start to play simple exercises just to get you going. You'll be learning how to read music, and then you will finish off by learning a proper piece of music with a piano backing track. And that's just in the first 10 lessons. The beauty of this course is that the first 10 lessons are absolutely free, along with all the PDF printouts and all the materials that you might need. This is going to give you an idea of my teaching style and really to see how fast that you're going to learn with my 1 to 30 violin course before you commit to the rest of it. The course is priced at $59.99 US, and this is a one-off payment. It's a really cheap course when you think about it. If you were to hire a private music teacher or have weekly lessons, you know, they'd be costing you, what, in the UK about anywhere between sort of 20 and 30 pounds an hour. In the US, you know, maybe an average of $50, sometimes more depending on whether you're in a big city or not. So my course really is like having a one-time payment for a teacher. As I said, the course is 100% downloadable, and it is literally available to anyone, anywhere, no matter where you are in the world. This course really is the enchilada of all violin courses, and the link to the free first 10 lessons and all materials needed to get yourself started right now will be linked directly below this video. Okay, so how to hold the violin. So obviously the violin is going to go and sit on your shoulder, and you're going to put the violin up here, pretty much something like this. Now, I should probably mention that I don't have a shoulder rest, and I don't teach any of my students with a shoulder rest. A shoulder rest is something like this. So what that will do basically is just fill in the gap between your the base of your violin and your shoulder. So really having a shoulder rest is complete personal preference. It's got nothing to do with anything. It's just absolute personal preference. I used to play with a shoulder rest many years ago when I was much younger, in my kind of first kind of beginning years. I can't remember why. It was just something, you know, it was just something that I did. And then eventually, as I got to kind of more advanced levels, I felt that the shoulder rest was just a bit too restrictive for me. But I don't really have a particularly long neck. If you've got a long kind of narrow neck and you've got quite a lot of space between your chin and your shoulder, then I dare say that you're probably going to want something like a shoulder rest. A lot of you comment a lot of you comment on my channel and underneath my videos to say that you're learning to play the violin, you've got the violin on your shoulder and it's really hurting. My usual response to that would be to try something like a shoulder rest. I will link the shoulder rest directly underneath this video if you want to know the exact one that I have. I don't use it, but I used to use this, and this is the one that I recommend everybody to get, and all my students. So I always say have a shoulder rest. Other than that, you can put a little cloth on top of your shoulder. You can fold the cloth up. You can maybe just get a bit of an elastic band, put a cloth there, put the elastic band on the little button part there so it hooks on there, and then hook the elastic band onto this little part here so it hooks on the button there, across to that little part there, and then your cloth is underneath it. So, you know, it's just personal preference. So just try that out. But again, it sort of depends on that bone that you've got there, the clavicle bone, and whether or not the violin is sort of sitting uncomfortably there for you. The shoulder rest that I like is this one, if that's coming out on camera, which is the Wolf the Wolf Forte Primo. Now they do two of these. One of these I don't like and one of these I do like. This is the one that I do like, which is the Forte Primo. Wolf do a Forte Secondo as well. I don't like that because of the way one of the side connectors in. It moves about, it falls off the violin. It's so irritating. This one is really nice because you just kind of, you put the feet on. I mean, that's it. I mean, that doesn't come off until you make it come off. You can adjust the height as well. It's got slightly sort of adjustable height on it. But like I say, I don't really use this, but it just depends on, actually, I will show you what it just looks like. So this is with the shoulder rest in there. So for me, because I don't have a very big gap there, I find it just, I find there's a lot of bulk sitting here, and I just don't really like it. I feel like the violin is just stuck in one place, and I can't kind of move around. So I feel less free with it. So I feel less free with it. So whether you have a shoulder rest or not, it doesn't really matter. This is the violin without the shoulder rest, by the way. Yes, I do bring my shoulder up just a touch, but it's just a touch. It doesn't make my shoulders come up. It doesn't kind of ruin my posture or anything like that. I've been playing for about 35, 36 years. You know, I don't have any shoulder issues or anything like that. But yes, it does come up a little bit, but remembering I don't have a very large gap there, so that kind of suits me. So let's get back to how we're going to actually hold the violin, what we're all here for. Okay, so when you put the violin up, think of your clock, 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I know that's probably going to be the opposite because the camera is looking at me. But let's look at 9 o'clock first. So if I put the violin on my shoulder and I hold it out at 9 o'clock, I don't like that because it's too far out to the side. Everything's going to come round too much. It's no good. So we don't have it there. 9 o'clock, Now let's put it at 12 o'clock. I see a lot of people playing at 12 o'clock. Guys, don't play at 12 o'clock because if you do that, the violin's going to be hanging down there and you're going to be playing like this, and I see that a lot and it drives me nuts. So guys, don't play at 12 o'clock because the violin's going to be sitting on your chest there and then you'll be playing like that, and that's just silly. So 11 o'clock is a little bit too close to 12 o'clock if for my liking. 10 o'clock is probably more like it, and as I said, 9 o'clock is just too far out to the side. When it's at 9 o'clock, it is actually sitting on your shoulder. When it's at 12 o'clock, it wants to sort of sit there. So when it's at 9, it wants to sit there. When it's at 12, it wants to sit there. It can't sit there because there's nothing, you know, it's just there, isn't it? It's flat. So that's no good. So what we want is around about 10 o'clock. If you want to get really pedantic with it, which I often do, I would say between 10 and 11. So if your clock was at 10:30, where would the small hand for 10 be? It would sort of it'd be halfway between 10 and 11, if you want to sort of, for those of you that kind of want to be a bit OCD about it all. So I would say that's probably where I am, around about 10-ish o'clock. So now that's where you are. If I just flip myself around, you can just see what that looks like there. Okay, so now we look a little bit better. We're not too far at the side, we're just there. And that's how we hold the violin. So let me just get the bow on. When the bow is coming round, the bow is on the strings. So you can see now that I've got a bit of a square with my arm from my shoulder here to my elbow. And we're in a square. So if I turn around at this angle, so you can still see that my body is at 12 o'clock, which is now out here. My violin is still out at 10 o'clock. And my bow is completely in a cross shape to the violin. So we don't want it like this, we don't want it like that, we want it like this. So if I just move myself around here, you can sort of see what the shape kind of looks like. So I'll show you how to put the bow on the violin in another video. I will link that underneath. But this is how you hold the violin, and this is where you put the violin. And like I said, if you want a shoulder rest, that's completely up to you. But make sure your violin is on your shoulder and it is out to about 10 to 11 o'clock. Not quite 11, it's too much. 10 o'clock, maybe a little bit too far back, so somewhere in between 10 and 11. You'll sort of feel what's comfortable, because 9 o'clock is going to be pushing, this arm is going to be pushing too far back, and it just won't feel right. and any closer to kind of the 12 o'clock station is going to cause the violin to kind of drop down. So there we go. I hope this video has helped you. Just a quick little video, another little brush up. It never hurts to kind of go back over these things. Even if you have just started and you're kind of 6 months in, you know, it doesn't hurt to kind of revisit these kind of things, as well as you guys that are new to playing the violin as well, and you just want a decent violin on how, a decent video, sorry, on how to hold the violin. So the links to my 1 to 30 violin course, as mentioned earlier, are going to be in the description bar underneath this video. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.